Currently, Elden Ring features 40 weapon categories, offering a massive arsenal of over 400 weapons to choose from. In this video, I want to show you the best weapons of each class so you can never go wrong when picking your armament. I will try to be as objective as possible, but it's natural that some of my choices are based on my preferences and gameplay style. In case I don't mention a weapon you like, be sure to leave it in the comment section along with the reasons why you think it's cool. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. Thrusting Shields. I don't know why this is a weapon class itself, but I will go with the Carrion Thrusting Shield, as it's simply better than the Dueling Shield. It deals more damage on any affinity, has a better guard boosting and better stats in general. Magic affinity with high intelligence make this shield destructive. Hand-to-hand arts. To be honest, both are great, but I feel I can deal more damage with Dane's footwork than with dry leaf arts, despite their scale values being the same on any affinity. Also, I prefer having a cooler and more versatile moveset with more kicks like it was Kickboxer or Bloodsport, and I feel this one is easier to use as well. Throwing Blades. Now I really can't decide, like I really can't. Smith's Crypt Dagger, let's go baby, infusible, pretty mid, but it's what it is, the only weapon we have in this category. Backhand Blades. Smith's Crypt Cirque sucks in my opinion, Crossblade Cirque is cool but not powerful enough, but the Backhand Blade is really OP, absolutely broken when you use guard counters with the deflecting hard tier, besides of being an infusible weapon which makes it quite versatile and reliable in most scenarios. I'll go with the Backhand Blades for obvious reasons. Perfume Bottles. Do not get mad at the low performance of these weapons, they are not intended to be a main weapon. The Lightning Bottle was broken when the DLC was released, but it was a glitch. Now your best option is the Fire one, as it only requires Dex to perform decently. Beast Claws. After multiple testing, I noticed the performance of both weapons is pretty similar. The base damage of the Redbear's Claw is slightly better than the Beast Claw. Nonetheless, as you are progressing through new game plus cycles, the quick status effect proc you can get with the Beast Claw on bleed affinity makes it a more reliable weapon compared to the Redbear's Claw. Anyways, both weapons are great, so feel free to use the one you like the most. Light Greatswords. In this case, it's actually complicated. Derelana's Twinblades are so much fun. It's a reinvented version of the Sword of Night and Flame, but not as good in terms of damage. Nonetheless, it's pretty effective, though it's a little hard to use. Anyways, I cannot ignore the sick performance we can get with the Milady, which is an infusible weapon with a fantastic Ash of War designed to be used exclusively with this weapon, and it also has a sick moveset. I'm definitely going with the Milady. Great Katanas. One of the coolest weapon classes of this game without a doubt. The Dragon Hunter's Great Katana is good but lacks of damage. The Rakshasas is probably my favorite, but not even close to be as broken as the Great Katana, a weapon that can be used in multiple ways, dealing tons of damage with bleed procs, pierce attacks, or whatever you want to do, as it is extremely versatile. Daggers. I'm going with the Reduvia. This is a weapon you can obtain as soon as you start playing the game, and you can take it all the way up to New Game Plus 7 and it will still rock. It's brutal even against enemies immune to bleed, but other good daggers are the Black Knife, which is a cooler variation of the Blade of Calling, and the Glintstone Crease that can get very powerful with the Riser Up. Anyways, the best of the best is the Reduvia. Straight Swords. I'm pretty sure you already know, but let me explain. The Broadsword is a rock solid weapon. It can be really powerful with the right build. Other weapons are quite cool as the Sword of Light or Sword of Darkness, but their performance is questionable. Nonetheless, the Sword of Night and Flame is extremely broken. It's not even fair that it's paired with the rest of the straight swords. But what can I tell you guys, what a beautiful hybrid weapon. The best of both worlds in one piece. It's like a ladybug. Greatswords. This has to be one of the hardest decisions of the list. We have pure gold here. Blasphemous Blade, Darkmoon Greatsword, the Claymore, the Ordovis's Greatsword, and I have to choose only one of them. I will go with the Marae's Executioner's Sword, the most broken greatsword available in terms of damage. Anyways, if I would have to choose the most reliable blade, that would be the Blasphemous Blade, broken and easy to use. For the Darkmoon Greatsword lovers, it's not my fault they nerfed it so bad it doesn't compete anymore with the Blasphemous Blade. It's a great weapon though. Colossal Swords. Another difficult one. The Goddess' Greatsword might be everyone's favorite. The God Slayer's Greatsword, a weapon designed to shred divine entities, the Maliketh's Black Blade, the Destined Death Forged in a Sword, and the beautiful Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword. This weapon has one of the most fun unique skills I tried in this game, but the most broken is definitely the Fire Knight's Greatsword. Think about it as an upgraded version of the Zweihander. This weapon is incredibly nasty when you use it on Holy or Flame Art affinity. It's a complete monster. Thrusting Swords. This is one of the worst weapon classes if you are planning to use only one thrusting sword. Their real power shines when you power stance them on a bleed or frostbite build. Nonetheless, by itself the Carrion Sorcery Sword is pretty decent as a weapon, and it allows you to cast sorceries without needing an staff. It's a good weapon in general. Roger's Rapier is also very useful because of its pre-equipped Glintblade Phalanx that allows you to break the stance of your targets quickly. Heavy Thrusting Swords. Unlike the previous category, deciding here is slightly more difficult, since we have amazing weapons like the Bloody Helice, the Quilling's Greatsword, and the Dragon King's Crackblade. Even so, the best weapon of this class by far is the Sword Lance. This weapon weapon has an insane guard boosting and deals pierce damage on its guard counter animation. Combined with the Royal Knight's Resolve Ash of War and the deflecting Heartir, this thing goes absolutely crazy. Curved swords. I'm pretty sure you might suppose that I will go with the Bandits, Scavengers or Beastmen's curved swords, but that will be unfair because you require 2 of them to be able to use the power stance moveset. Here I'll go with the Falx. What a fantastic weapon! With only one piece you have access to the power stance moveset of this class and one of the best unique skills of the entire game. The Dancing Blade of Rana is a great weapon as well, but the Falx is simply better. Great damage and sick style. Curved Greatswords. If I would have made this list before the DLC release, the Bloodhound's Fang will be here, or even the Morgoth's Curved Sword. Anyways, thanks to Shadow of the Erdtree, we have this wild beast named Freya's Greatsword. This weapon with the Savage Lion's Claw Ash of War is a real menace. I recommend the Flame Art or Sacred Affinity with High Fate to be insanely powerful in every situation. Katanas. Why do I have to do this? Rivers of Blood is fantastic, pretty cool yet limited to its nature. Uchigatana is incredibly powerful but too short. The Sword of Night doesn't deal enough damage despite of being so cool. The Moonveil is a classic but it lacks of versatility, and the Hand of Malenia is extremely fun to play but really hard to use properly. So even if I don't want to admit it, the Nagakiba is the best katana of Elden Ring. It's an infusible weapon with an insane range and incredible scale values that can outperform everything easily. In some scenarios the Rivers of Blood is slightly better, but in general the Nagakiba is the most destructive even against targets immune to bleed. The cool part is that you can use the Nagakiba and the Rivers of Blood with the same stats, 80 Dex and 50 Arcane. With that settings both weapons will be stupidly broken. Twinblades. When it comes to flashiness, the Twinblades are top notch, and the best in this area is obviously the Eleonora's Pole Blade, my favorite weapon in Elden Ring despite not being the most broken. For damage, I will choose the Gargoyle's Twinblades, however, to get the most out of it we need another one, which is actually unfair in this comparison. So the very best for max damage is the Black Steel Twinblade. This monster deals a lot of damage thanks to its fast moveset and powerful multi-hitting R2 attacks. After playing for quite a few hours, I feel it's slightly better than the Euphoria, but let me know what you think. Axes. The main problem of Axes in my opinion is the fact that most of them, especially the ones with a significant damage, tend to deal only standard damage, which limits the potential of these weapons, making them pretty average. Some cool axes we have are the Rosus Axe, the Dead Knight's Twin Axes, and as the strongest one we have the Mesmer Soldier Axe and the Warp Axe. The first one works better in high level builds, while the Warp Axe works great in heavy affinity. I will go with Mesmer Soldier Axe for max damage. Greataxes. In this case the situation is very similar. Most weapons of this class deal standard damage and don't have any particular features that can make a significant difference, but that doesn't mean we don't have powerful options to dominate the PvE scene. A great weapon can be the Executioner's Great Axe that has a 115% boost on critical hits, a great feature because of its high stance damage and AR. On the other hand we have the Rusted Anchor. By itself is incredibly powerful because it deals only pierce damage, but if you want to get the most out of it you better get another one in New Game Plus to power stance both. Hammers. The hammers deal a lot of stance damage, offering a lot of control over the boss fights. I have two favorites here. First, the Marika's Hammer. It has a great unique skill and is extremely effective against the majority of bosses, only losing performance in the late scenarios of the base game. And the best one to me is the Ringed Finger, a very creative and destructive machine that only From Software could imagine as a weapon. Flails. Why these things even exist? Bastard Stars is the one that sucked the least of all of them. Go with it or avoid this class entirely. Anyways, it's fun to spin it like it's Tongolongo. Great Hammers. You have multiple options here. These monsters are the best weapon class to break stances. For multi-hit and health recovery, run Great Stars with Wild Strikes. To get the best guard counters, use the Black Steel Great Hammer with Deflecting Heartir on Sacred or Flame Art Affinity. And for power stancing, your best option are 2 Pickaxes or 2 Great Clubs with Crackblade on Heavy Affinity. Colossal Weapons. If we were in 2022, the clear answer will be the Giant Crusher, because it is a very solid weapon and deals a huge amount of damage with its R2 attacks. However, the real Bunker King here is the Bloodfiend's Arm. The DLC Chicken Leg easily outperforms the Giant Crusher, and if it's used on Bleed Affinity, the R2 attacks leave a small AoE that builds bleed on your target. A great colossal weapon as well is the Giza's Wheel, but it's a lot more difficult to use and can lead to inconsistent performance. Spears. Naginata is the spear that will grant you the highest AR possible, whether if you use it alone or pair it with another Naginata. It's just the strongest spear of the game. A great alternative for this one is the Bloodfiend's Fork. You can use both weapons with the same build, going high arcane on occult affinity. And if you're a dexterity guy, of course the best one for you is the Bolt of Grandsax. Not even close to be as powerful as these two, but it's really cool and quite easy to use. Great Spears. Mogwin's Sacred Spear Magai. There are classes where you have it right there, and even if you you try to not look at it, you know that is your best option to entirely destroy the game. The Spear of the Impaler though is absolutely stunning and really fun to play, but when it comes to high performance, reliability and consistent gameplay, the Mogwin Sacred Spear is the right choice. Halberds. If you're a strength user, go with the Knight Rider Glaive. It's an absolute monster combined with the Spinning Strikes Ash of War. You can also use the Lucerne against enemies weak to pierce damage, but in most scenarios the best option will be the Knight Rider Glaive. Also, if you like to play at long and medium range, use the Guardian Sword Spear. It has a sick dexterity scaling, perfect for projectile ashes of war such as Ice Spear. Reapers. The moments when I choose a unique weapon over an infusible one are pretty rare, especially when we have fantastic and versatile weapons such as the Grave Scythe. Nonetheless, the Obsidian Lamina offers a better performance despite having a lower AR, but that's thanks to its unique skill Dynastic Sickle Play, which was recently buffed and can be boosted by 15% with the Ansbach set. If you are bored, try this weapon, man. So fun to play and really powerful too. Whips. More like oops. Previously I said the thrusting sword category was one of the worst, and that's because we have a whip category, where I can't actually decide which one is not as bad to make me want to swap for another weapon. The Giant's Red Braid is incredibly cool, but doesn't deal a good amount of damage and is incredibly hard to use, so I'll pick the Urumi. It has a nice dexterity scaling, what makes it great to combine with the Lightning Ashes of War, and it features a unique R2 attack that has a very good range, but in general this category is pretty meh. Fists. Pata seems to be pretty OP according to a lot of people, and I agree. It's a great weapon cause it has the range of a claw weapon and it allows you to attack at a very fast rate. But if you really want to deal the highest damage possible with a fist weapon, the Golem Fist is the definitive choice. Its R2 attacks throw the weapon, dealing additional damage, destroying your target's HP bar in seconds. In case you don't have this weapon, you can go with the Start Fist. It's slightly better than the Pata. Claws. When the DLC was released, everyone told me to play with the Claws of Night. Most of you guys were convinced this is the best weapon of this class. Unfortunately, that is not the case. After all, the Venomous Fang didn't lose the throne. The DPS this weapon can reach with a very basic build is disgusting. The only advantage of the Claws of Night over the Venomous Fang is the range, but it doesn't compensate the huge difference of performance between them. Light Bows. I'm gonna go here with the Bone Bow. I don't have too much experience playing with this weapon class, but I'm pretty sure the performance this weapon displays is not normal. It has one of the most stupid skills I've seen in this game. Somehow it can track the enemies perfectly like guided rockets, which can be very powerful with the right build. What I don't like of this weapon class are the scale values. I mean, what is this DD? It feels like I didn't upgrade the weapon at all. Bows. You know that I am a close range player, so I find most ranged weapons useless, but I actually think that the Black Bow can be very useful in multiple scenarios. In most cases, people prefer the Ansbach bow because it offers the light bow moveset, and because of its unique skill appears to be very useful when it's not. You spend 8 arrows per use, but only 2 of them hit. Quite nice. On the other hand, we have the glorious Black Bow with its amazing barrage skill that can melt every single enemy in seconds, and it's very easy to use. Greatbows. I am not sure if this is the strongest Greatbow, but the Lion's Greatbow is definitely the most effective against big enemies thanks to its unique skill Radan's Rain, which makes it incredibly reliable for a specific situation. From my perspective, this is more valuable since the performance of this weapon class is actually bad compared to melee weapons, so the fact that we have an option that brings something really useful, even if it is in specific scenarios, makes the weapon more special. Crossbows. As I see the things, using this weapon should be based merely on having fun, because even if you stack a lot of buffs, the performance you will get is not gonna be great. The Repeating Crossbow, however, is a very decent weapon. It shows multiple projectiles quickly and it has a great range. Anyways, in the same way than with the light bows, I recommend you to use Bleed Bolts to proc this status effect to deal more damage. Ballistas. In this category, I'll go with the Jar Cannon. It deals a very decent amount of damage compared to the other ballistas. None of them is fast enough to be reliable though. If you like the rocket tracking of the Rancor shot of the Bomb Bow, then you should try the Rabbit's Cannon. It's really fun to play. Glintstone Staffs. In this case, it's hard to tell, as with each build the answer will change. The spells in Elden Ring are divided by schools. Some staffs boost the power of a specific school of sorcery. That's why for the Night Comet build we use the Staff of Loss, and for gravity spells we use the Meteorite Staff. But in general, I like the Azur's Glintstone Staff, because it helps you to cast the spells faster even if you have a low level of dexterity. Sacred Seals. With the seals is basically the same. The best for Dragon Cult incantations will be the Glintstone Seal because of its passive boost. For the Black Flame incantation, the best will be the Godslayer Seal and so on. But once again, a great seal is the Finger Seal. You can use it on any build to cast your buffs. It doesn't need to be upgraded and it has a very good incant scaling on Fate. Torches. Surprisingly, these weapons are not bad as people think. This weapon class is really strong when it comes to stance damage. In this aspect, it's even better than the Hammers category. The best one in my opinion is the Steel Wire Torch. Quite a solid option if you are looking to deal a lot of fire damage while controlling the fight as much as possible. Tools. For the tools, I believe the most useful are the Rock Heart and Priestess Heart. Both of them are not used directly to deal damage, but they act as buffs to the Dragon Communion and Dragon Cult incantations respectively, besides of turning our characters into dragons, reminding us the amazing dragon transformations from Dark Souls 3. Let me know in the comment section what do you think of my choices. Maybe you will prefer other weapons and I really want to know. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day guys, my name's Carlos and I'll see you in the next one.